Hey dear learners, welcome back to e-learning platform of GS College of Commerce, Wardha. Today we are going to start with the new semester. For this semester I am going to teach you economics, business economics, and this lecture is for the BCom semester 2 for the subject business economics. So in our semester 1 we have learned the many concepts in economics by the way of learning or the studying various units. In first year, we have seen the basic concept of business economics. Then we have seen the various theories like theory of production, theories of cost, theories of revenue. In this way, we have learned so many concepts in last semester. In this semester as well, we are going to learn many new concepts, and there would be the base of previous year's concept. Like if when we are going to deal with the different market structures, so there we will take the help of cost curve for understanding the price and output determination under the different markets. So this way, in this semester we are going to learn the different concept. So as you have seen the syllabus of all other subjects as well, this subject is also divided in 4 units. Basically market structure, the second unit is the perfect and imperfect competition market, in third unit we have theories of distribution, and in fourth unit we have business cycle and national income. So now we will see what are the different components or elements under this different units. So let's begin afresh. See, first unit is market structure. It consists of 3 chapters that we are going to see here. First one that we are going to see here is meaning and classification of market structure. So here we will see the different type of market structure on the basis of various foundations. Like there is market structure on the basis of competition. There are market structure on the basis of time. There are market structure on the basis of types of goods. So this way we are going to see the meaning and classification of market structure in our first chapter under our first unit. Then the second chapter that we are going to learn here is firm and industry. So in this chapter we are going to see the concept of firm and industry. Then we are going to see the importance of firm and industry, objective of firm and industry, and then we will conclude this chapter by studying the difference between firm and industry. So here in this second chapter we would be dealing with the concept of firm and industry. The next chapter under this unit is going to be pricing of products. So under this chapter we would be dealing with the different strategy for pricing of products. What kind of strategies are being used in the businesses for pricing of product, what are the basis for deciding the prices of products. Like there may be pricing of products on the basis of cost, there may be pricing of products on the basis of different things that we are going to see here in this chapter. So this way we are going to see these 3 chapters under our first unit, that is market structure. Then the second unit is associated with perfect and imperfect competitions. Again under this unit we have different chapters. So first chapter over here is feature and price output determination under perfect competition market. So here first chapter would be dealing with the features of perfect competition market and price and output determination under perfect competition market. Means here we would be seeing what are the basic characteristics of perfect competition market, so that we can understand the concept of perfect competition market, and then we will see how the price and output is determined under the perfect competition market with the help of various schedules and the graphs. The next chapter over here is features and price output determination under monopoly market. So when we talk about the monopoly market, so again it is one of the segmentation of market on the basis of competition. So monopoly market is a part of imperfect competition market. Here in this chapter we would be dealing with the different features of monopoly market and we will also see how the price output is determined under this monopoly market. Okay. Again here we will see the graphs and the schedule in order to see how the prices are determined under the monopoly market, how the price and output is determined under the monopoly market. The next chapter that we are going to see here is of price discrimination. So price discrimination is basically a technique which is generally used in the monopoly market. So here we will see the price discrimination. Basically what is the concept of price discrimination and how it is done, what are the basic requirements for the price discrimination, and what are the different types of price discrimination that we are going to see under this chapter of price discrimination. Then fourth chapter under this unit would be features and price output determination under monopolistic competition. Again, monopolistic competition is one of the segmentation of markets under the imperfect competition markets. So in this chapter we would be seeing what is basically the monopolistic competition market and what are the features of monopolistic competition market, and then we would see how the prices and output is determined under monopolistic competition market. So this way we would be dealing with perfect and imperfect competition markets. Okay. Here we will end up our second unit. Then we will start our third unit, which is associated with theories of distribution. So basically here we would see the theories of wages, theories of interest, theories of profit, and the theory of distribution. So first chapter under this unit would be modern theory of distribution. Here we are going to see the modern theory of distribution. Then we would start with the theories of rent, and here in our syllabus we have two theories of rent which would help us to understand how the rent is decided. As we know, the rent is the reward for the land. So this theory would help us to determine how the rent is decided. So here we have two theories in our syllabus, Ricardian theory of rent and modern theory of rent. So we would be dealing with these two theories of rent, and then we will see the concept of quasi-rent, which is a very small concept and can be asked in the examination for the 4 marks question. Then we have under same unit our second chapter would be theory of wages. Here we would be seeing how the wages is determined in the market. So here we would see this with the help of marginal productivity theory of wages. So here we would be dealing with the marginal productivity theory of wages and its criticism. The next chapter under the same unit would be theory of interest. Here in this theory we will determine or we will learn how the interest is determined. As we know, the interest is the reward for capital. So here we would see how the interest is determined in the market. Okay. So here we would learn it by using the two theories. First one is loanable fund theory of interest, and second one is the liquidity preference theory of interest. So this way we would learn how to determine the interest by using these two theories, that is loanable fund theory of interest and the liquidity preference theory of interest. Then we would deal with our next chapter, that is theories of profit. So again, as we know, the profit is the reward of entrepreneur, and in this chapter we would come to know how the profit is rewarded to the entrepreneur, why the profit is rewarded to the entrepreneur. So here we would learn two theories of profit, that is dynamic theory of profit and innovation theory of profit, which is given by the different economists. This dynamic theory of profit is given by the J.B. Clark and innovation theory of profit is given by the Schumpeter. So we are going to see these two theories, that is dynamic theory of profit and innovation theory of profit in our chapter theories of profit. And after that we would deal with a small concept of gross interest and net interest, and then we will end up with this unit. After that we would see our fourth unit, that is business cycle and national income. So as the name indicates, this unit is divided into two chapters. First one is business cycle and second one is national income. So under the first chapter, that is business cycle, we would see the concept of business cycle, features of business cycle, the different phases of business cycle, then the causes and remedies of business cycle. And here this chapter, that is business cycle, would end up. Then we would see our last chapter, under the 4th unit and the last chapter of syllabus, that is national income. Thereby we would see the meaning and concept of national income. Then we are going to deal with the different methods for measuring national income, and we would see what are the different difficulties that arises in measuring national income. So this is our syllabus for the BCom second semester that we have to deal in this semester. After that, if you are going to have your examination in traditional system, so you would be having your traditional paper of 80 marks, which would be again divided into 80 marks, which would be again divided into 4 units, and each unit would carry equal mark. Like unit 1 would carry 20 marks, unit 2 would carry 20 marks, unit 3 would carry 20 marks, and unit 4 would carry 20 marks. And there would be what kind of question you would be having in total 5 questions. In question 1, you would have A for 8 marks, B for 8 marks, or C for 16 marks. So this way you would be having question from first unit, question 2, question 3 and question 4 would remain the same way, like 8 marks or 16 marks. Okay, so you have to attempt 2 questions of either 8 marks or 1 question of 16 marks. So 4 questions, question number 1, question number 2, question number 3 and question number 4 would be asked in same way, and then you would be having question number 5 where you would be asked 4 questions of 4 marks, so it would be 16 marks. Okay, it would be 16 marks, and these questions are going to be compulsory for you, which would be based on different concept. Here again, 1 question would be from first unit, second question would be from second unit, third question would be from third unit, and fourth question would be from fourth unit, and all these questions would be, all these sub questions under question number 5 would be compulsory in nature. So this way you would be having the paper of 80 marks if your exams would be conducted in traditional pattern. But as you all know what is the situation of today, and therefore as a precaution we need to be prepared for MCQ as well. So when we are going to see the concept in detail, so you would be able to solve MCQs. If you would understand the concept in detail, so it would be of great help for you to solve MCQs. That is why you have to watch the lectures that is available on our college YouTube channel. Notes would be provided to you, and in case you are going to have any kind of doubts in the syllabus further, so you can contact me as well by WhatsApp or you can call me. So till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.